now. Good day, everyone. Today, you're going to be learning about the different aspects of web development to be presented by groups 1 to 5. So without further ado, let's give them a virtual clap. So take it away, group 5.
Kita na po.
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. We are Group 5 and we'll be presenting MySQL function running codes. I'm actually Linda. I'll be presenting the first 4 or 6 slides. AVG function. Basically, this is we use in getting average in a table in a SQL. As you can see in the example provided, select average salary, which is a column, as average salary, which will provide a different column. Here we will be looking for the salaries that are less than 25,000. So we really don't have the outputted in a really don't have the example for the outputted in a table, which is why we'll be go by words. Next slide. Count function. Count function is counting what is inside a column. As you can see, we use the select count supplier RED, which is this one. From suppliers are the table name. This pool is the supplier table. Inside the supplier ID, there are 3 values or 3 values, which is 1, 2, 3, which is why the result is 3. String function. Basically, what this syntax does is count the substring of a number. In our example, we have MySQL, select string, Our Lady of Fatima University, comma, T. So we'll begin counting from here up to here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, including the spaces in between of these texts, which is why the result is 15. Same thing in another example, Our Lady of Fatima, D, will start counting from here and ends here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including the space, which is why the results is 7. Sum is another arithmetic operators. In its name, self-explanatory. We add numbers. We add them to get the sum. So select sum in our example. Salary, a column in a table as total salary, which means if you do this in an SQL, it'll provide a new column titled total salaries from table employees. We use the work condition here where the salary is less than 50,000. That will add everyone that salaries is less than 50,000. Next slide. Minimum. min. The syntax for minimum, basically what this gets is finding the minimum value of a record in a table. In our example, we have the salary record in our database, the lowest salary. This is the commands, but we really don't have the result, since we don't have a shown table. But just for you guys to fully understood, let's say we have 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, and 2,000 on a table in a column of salary. If we use this syntax, select min, open close parenthesis salary, as low as salary, well, it'll result to the lowest of the four numbers I've inputted, which is 2,000. Lowest, what it'll shown is lowest 2,000. This will be the output if we use that this syntax with these values in salary column. Max, max function, it's just the opposite function of what I've discussed a while ago. We use this to find the minimum. Again, if let's say I have 5,000, 4,000, 2,000. Well, input is, if you use the same, this select max open close salary as highest salary from employee table, it'll output the highest in these four numbers. Four numbers I inputted is 5,000. So essentially, it's looking for the highest value in in salary column, the opposite of the minimum, which is finding the lowest value in the column of our table. Concat function or concatenate. Basically, what this does is combine two or more strings together. As you can see in our example, we have select concat, the main command. Inside the string is O separated by comma, L separated by comma, F separated by comma, and U, then semicolon. So what will concat do is combine the four of them, which resulted in all. Same thing in another example. The answer is 24 separated by comma 24. It combined the values inside the string, as it is in the following examples.
Good morning, classmate. Good morning, ma'am. The next slide will be length. The length function is finding the length of a string. As you can see in the example, select length. We have no result because wala pong bilang. Tapos select length space. We considered space as a length. Then next example, College of Computer Studies. The strings here is 27. And then next, Our Lady of Fatima will be 29, the result. Next slide. Left function. is basically selecting only numbers of value in a string you want. In our example, we use select left CCS 5, meaning only the 5 value from the left, and then the result is call. Then the next example, select left College of Computer Studies 18 in College of Computer Studies. Next slide, lower. In the lower function, basically is lower casing the text inside the string. In our example, as you can see, Our Lady of Fatima University, they have an uppercase and then result in lowercase. Our Lady of Fatima University. Select College Computer Studies. Next, the LPAD. The LPAD function is used to pad or add string to the left side of the original string. In our example, select LPAD ABC. The LPAD select ABC, bali parang ililipat lang siya. It changed to 6 to ABC to the left. Then next slide, L trim. The L trim removes white space or other predefined characters from the left side of a string. Example, one side of string, all foo. We use trim to remove that space before all foo. As you can see the example here. We have space in left, then the result all foo. Then to the next. And the next slide, right function. The right function extracts a number of characters from a string, starting from right. Example inside the string is all poo. We only getting one, which is why it result in u. Select right all poo, then one results u. The next replace the syntax. What it does is replace string to the substring. In our example, we use ABC as our string. A is the one we want to replace with capital B, which is why the result were B lowercase bc. BBC.
Okay, so I will now discuss about the substring function. So for the substring SQL function is the substring string with the syntax of string, followed by the start position of the function, then the length or what will be the length of the string. Then select substring Our Lady Fatima University. Then the starting position is from 5. So as you can see on the result, so I will so in the result, it will start on the Lady of Fatima University. Then so we start before the 5. So we will now count to Our Lady Fatima, which 1, 2, 3. And then the spaces or the white spaces is counted so as one character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and then the next slide. Hmm. Okay, so the trim function. The trim function, the syntax for the trim function is the trim, leading, this is the leading, trailing, and both um, syntax. Then the difference between the three are the places. So as you can see on the first example, the leading syntax, it will trim the before the string. So here there are white spaces before the alpha, and the result will be now cut or trimmed. And then next one is trailing. Trailing is just the opposite of leading. It will just trim the after of the string. Then here there are white spaces. So here it will cut or trim. Then for both trim, it will trim the both sides of the string. So the white spaces here and here, it will be now trimmed. Then next slide. Also in the also I will add also in the last example, trim leading 0, which means it will remove the 0 value of 0 character to the given string. So there are one, two, three characters in the string. Then the result will be 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So for the replace function, the syntax will be the replace string, your given string, then the from substring, then to the substring. So just like the Eman discussed, replaces will just replace the given string of what the user inputted or the given. So it will be now the replace is will be the small letter A and then will be replaced capital B. So the result will be capital B, letter B, C. Yeah. Reverse. Okay, so for the reverse function, it is just reverse then the string or your string. Okay, so it will matches the string in reverse manner, and the syntax for it is the reverse and then open close parenthesis string. Then in the given example, the string is A B C D E, A B C D E. Then the reverse of it is E D C B A, as well as with the other examples 1, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 1. Okay, so for the RPad, or it's just the opposite of LPad, which means the right side of the string will be added its pillars. Then so consider the string is ABC, and then the length of it is 6, and then the pad string is just the space. It will just add the spaces to the string. The next one is ABCD, also the string. Then our length is 9. Then the pad string is XYZ. Then the result will be ABC followed by the pad string. So it will fill all the 9 length. We will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it will now ABC, XYZ, and XYZ. So next slide. Next slide. Okay, R trim. R trim is just the right trim, or it will trim the right side of the string of the user given. So it will our given string is all full with the white spaces here. Then it will just trim the string. So our output will be all full without the white spaces here. It will be removed. So next slide. Okay, so this is upper function. This is like the low function earlier. Upper, the syntax is upper and then the string or the user wanted to use. Then it is just like the a caps lock to keyword, but it's in the SQL. So it will turn the string. So for example, this is our string, then followed by the open close parenthesis. Then our result will be in uppercase map. So our the Fatima University in uppercase. Okay, so next report.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna anong tawag dito? Report this current date function. This function in MySQL is used to return the current date. So in this example is the MySQL ano anong tawag dito? Select current date is the current date, which is 2014-01-28. And the second example is MySQL select current date is +0. So it's not gonna happen because you add 0. MySQL select current date +1 is gonna +1 on the current date. So it's gonna be 29. Next slide. Date diff. Date diff is a basic SQL Server function that can be used to do a date math. So, which in this example is select date diff, which is 2014-01-28 to 2014-01-27. So the MySQL is gonna do a math to compute or what is the differentiate between the 2004 to the date 1 or to the date 2. Next slide. The day function it returns an integer value which represent the day of a month. So in this example is select day. Yeah, and 2014-01-28 is the result is 28 because the MySQL syntax is gonna select the day of which is the inputted. Next. Month function is returns an integer value which represent the month of a specific date. So in this example is select month 2014-01-28. So the month is 01, so the result is 1. Next slide. Now function is returns the current date and time. So in this example is select now. The current date is 2014-01-28 and the current time is 13:41. And the sys date is function returns the current date and time. So the example is select sys date, system time, and the result is 2014-02-17 and then the time is 10:27:21.
So abs function, ABS function, ABS. Sorry. ABS function A mathematical function that returns the absolute positive value of this specific numeric expression. Mm, Like example, my, my SQL select ABS, open, close, negative 23, and the result is 23. And the another example is MySQL select ABS open close negative 23.6 and the result is also 23.6. See, sale, s- ika- sale, sale delivers the lowest integer value that is greater than or equal to a number. Note that this method is the same as sealing. Example, MySQL select sale open close parenthesis 32.65 is equals to 33 because like it randoms up like because wait lang. Another example is my SQL select sale open close 32.1 also the result is 33 because it's run. Mhm. Next lead na. Okay. Hmm. Floor. Floor function. Floor function is returns the largest integer value that is less than or equal to a number. The example is my SQL select floor open close parenthesis 32.65 is result of 32. Mod function. Mod function is the residual of an integer divided by another number is returned by the mod function. Example, MySQL select mod open close parenthesis 12 comma 5 is result by 2. Okay. Round function. Round function is a function that always returns a value. Like example, MySQL select round open close parenthesis 125.315 is result by 125. Trun, truncate. Truncate. Truncate function is to delete all records from a table. Use and it functions in the same way as delete command without the word clause. And the example is select truncate open close parenthesis 125.315 comma 0 and the result is 125 because the value is 0 and the result is 125.
That will
that will be the report of group 5. Thank you for listening.
Ma'am, wait lang po, nag-ayos lang po kami ng share. I-share screen ko lang po.
Group 4, please continue. Thank you.
Ma'am, wait lang po. Wait lang po sa Okay na po, ma'am. Nakikita niyo na po.
Yes, go ahead.
So, ma'am, we are the group 4. Good morning, classmates. Good morning. Good morning, ma'am. We are the group 4. And ito na po yung report namin. Web hosting. Ay, okay. Ay, wait lang po muna. So, ma'am, what is web hosting? Web hosting is an online service that allows you to publish your website files onto the internet. So anyone who has access to the internet has access to your website. In practice, it usually refers to the service you get from a web hosting provider like one.com. While you can theoretically host an actual server for your website at home. Relying on a web hosting service providing offers lots of benefits. How does web hosting work? In summary, companies like us rent out services and technologies to host your website on the internet. Once you have chosen your domain name and sign up to a hosting plan, then your website is accessible on the internet. When you use web hosting services, your web host is responsible for making sure your service is up and running. Not only that, but it is also a host job to prevent any security breaches and store all your files, assets, and databases onto the server. The next reporter is
Types of web hosting, shared hosting. Shared hosting is is when a web hosting provider hosts a number of different websites on the same server. It is the most affordable form of web hosting because you share the name server, you share the same server, so you split costs. If you are looking to start a blog or have a business that's starting up, then share hosting is a good option. WordPress hosting. WordPress hosting simply means hosting that been optimized by WordPress on a server level to ensure smooth sailing. Next slide, please. How do WordPress different form of regular hosting? While details vary, provider most of WordPress hosting package offer these common traits. simple one-click installation that avoids dozens of manual steps and configuration a new WordPress site at one.com. WordPress install automatically under a minute. WordPress 2. WordPress configuration optimized for faster loading of WordPress site. This could include performance cache optimization and other tweaks. 3. Security measure that protect against common WordPress vulnerabilities as WordPress power over 30% of the web. It regularly comes under attack. You might also come across managed WordPress, which often refers to a predefined secure environment that restrict usage and unsupported or vulnerable plugins. Next. Next. BPS hosting. BPS stands for Virtual Private Server. Like shared hosting, website that run on BPS physical server with other websites. However, each BPS tenant has its own partition with granted dedicated resources. There's often more memory storage and processing power available with price tag too much. BPS hosting is recommended for highly experienced user with server management skills. BPS customer have root access to partition and can configure their server software. For example, Ubuntu, CentOS, and Windows Server. This system has a high level of customization to run a web apps for those systems. Next reporter.
Um, dedicated hosting. Dedicated hosting means you have the entire server to yourself. It gives you access like a VPS, but you don't have to share the server with other sites or apps. Effectively, you are leasing physical web server house at your service provider's facility. You also have a professional support and expertise on a hand needed. This top-end web hosting is only warranted for only highly demanding enterprise-grade websites. Small, medium-sized business do not need to spend thousands each month to rent dedicated web server for their business. Next slide. No. Cloud hosting. These days, cloud hosting has become a bit of a nebulous term, so we would strongly recommend looking closely at what you are getting if you are signed up for cloud hosting. In the beginning, cloud hosting referred to a VPS setup scalable to multiple servers. This way, if your web application had a sudden traffic spike, the system would be able to provision more resources and keep things running smoothly. Cloud hosting would have a more variable pricing model and fluid specs as a result. So when we say VPS, it is a virtual private server you can use to host your website production environment or pre-production environment. It offers business level requirements and hardware availability guaranteed by an SLA. Cloud hosting, it makes application and websites accessible using cloud resources, unlike traditional hosting solutions not deployed on a single server. Instead, a network of connected virtual and physical cloud server hosts the application or website, ensuring greater flexibility and scalability. However, as the popularity of cloud computing has surged, some companies have started to co-opt the term from the for their regular shared or VPS hosting. Other providers like Amazon Web. Next slide, please. Your website hosting cost will vary by provider. Technically, you can use a free web hosting service, although we do recommend avoiding them. Most of the cloud hosting computing are pay as you go. It means it is payment method for cloud computing that charges based on usage. Basically, the cloud hosting is under of cloud computing. The practice is similar to that of utility bills, using only resources that needed. Infrastructure as a service customers pay on a per use basis, typically by the hour, week or month. Why we should avoid using free web hosting service? Because they might steal our data input. Next reporter, please.
Justin.
All right. Next step. So difference between free web hosting to paid web hosting. So by opting for free hosting, you may encounter problems such as unwanted advertising on your page and their domain name in your URL. However, when you pay for web hosting, you are in full control of what content is on your website. So next. So there are numerous reasons why you should choose paid web hosting over a free web hosting. So the first one is bandwidth and disk space. So free web hosts will give you a lower bandwidth and limited disk space to their users. Paid web hosting can offer unlimited bandwidth and disk space. So the second one is the content limitations. Unlike paid web hosting, with free hosting, the number of image and videos you can upload is limited. So the third one is security breaches. So paid web hosting usually comes with much higher security. By using a free web hosting provider, you have a higher risk of a security breach. This customer's credit card information and other data can be stolen. So the fourth one is domain name and URL. So free hosting providers will give you a domain name with their name and their name in your URL. So when you use paid hosting providers, you will get a custom URL and can choose your domain name. So the last one is server speed. So free web hosting servers often overload, which means you may have to wait through a few hours of scheduled downtime. So paid hosting providers offer a high-speed drives with a guaranteed uptime.
Yun na po yung last slide, ma'am. Thank you.
Group 3, please follow. And then group 2, get ready afterwards, group 1.
Good morning, ma'am. We are the group 3 and we will discussing today the procedures in publishing a website.
Publishing your website. After days of coding and correcting your website, it's time to publish your creation to the internet. These are the step-by-step procedure on how to publish your website efficiently. The number one, pick a reliable web hosting company. The number two, choose your website upload method. And the number three, import your database. And the last one, check if the website works. And also pick a reliable website hosting company. The first one, creating and maintaining a website is not something that you should take lightly. It's crucial to pick a top-notch web hosting. provider that has all the key features to kickstart your project. And the last one, there are different types of web hosting sites that are available on the internet. For example, Bluehost, HostGator, Hostinger, and the web host. And the last one is the GoDaddy. These web hosting sites can provide free domain and pay per domain subscription on your website. Next reporter.
Several factors when choosing a hosting provider. Live support. A good hosting service should have a team of experts who can help you at any time. There's no worse feeling than running into some issues and having to wait for days to get a response.
Control over your web hosting space. The less control you have over your account, the more likely are to run into trouble when your site grows.
Room for growth. Before you commit to web host, make sure it offers scalable solutions that can provide more power, such as virtual private servers or cloud hosting.
Money back guarantee. Nobody likes a bad investment, so make sure to check for a refund policy. This is giving you time frame to test everything out before committing to the service. And that's all. Thank you po, ma'am.
Go ahead, group 2. No need to wait. You can start. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We are the group 2, and today we are going to report about the continuation of procedures in publishing a website. So the next step with picking a reliable web hosting company is to choose your website upload method. Choosing the appropriate method for your site will help you upload it successfully. There are three commonly used tools to upload a website: File Manager, File Transfer Protocol, and Automatic Website Importer.
Good day. I am Jaspel Padiranga, and for today's discussion, I'll be tackling the file manager. What is file manager? A file manager, often known as a file browser, is a computer tool that lets you manage file and directories using user interface. Creating, opening, editing, remaining, copying, moving, deleting, and searching for files as well as updating file characteristic, properties, and permission are the most typical activities performed on file or group of files. How to use the file managers. To utilize file managers, simply open your browser and go to your web space control panel where you can find file manager. On your web space, you may upload the download files as well as creator page and directories. However, because manager only allows you to upload one file at the time. If you have file greater than 256 MB, you should use the next tool instead. May I call the next reporter to further discussion the next slide. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jasper Gutierrez, and here is the second method to upload a website. File transfer protocol. Most web hosting providers support FTP or file transfer protocol you can use to connect an FTP client. If you don't have an FTP client, make sure you install one on your PC for hosting user. All the required credentials for accessing your FTP client are located in FTP accounts under the file section. There, next po. There you can all find import information regarding your FTP account, such as your FTP username, hostname, and password. There's no size limit when it comes to uploading files with an FTP program. However, it does take a bit technical knowledge that you can learn from this article on how to configure FileZilla and any FTP clients. Next po. And this is the third, automatic website importer for hosting or user. You can find an import website feature in HPanel. You can use this feature to extract a website arc to the public HTML directory. The tool supports zip, tar, and targz formats, and the upload limit is 256 MB. Next, and this is where you upload it. You all choose the file. Next po.
Import your database. If your website uses a database, you'll also need to import it along with your website files. Next po. Create a new MySQL database and user. Access your newly created database via PHP MyAdmin. Use the import section to upload the backup file of your database. Update the MySQL device connection details, database name, host, user, password in its configuration files.
Next, I'm going to talk about the next topic, which is to check if the website works. Every time we make something, we always have to check if it is working right. That includes website too. Next, please. Once the website files are uploaded, it's time for a final check. Enter the domain name into your browser and see if it directs you to your website. That simply means that when you entered it to the address bar of your browser, it should direct you to your own website. If it directed you to your own website, that means the website is working. If it does not, then you have to check if you missed any step mentioned before. Keep in mind that DNS or domain name system changes can take up to 48 hours to fully propagate worldwide. As such, if you just pointed your domain to the web hosting servers, you might need to wait for a while. Next, please. If you follow all the instructions correctly, your website will appear just fine. However, if you run into an issue, ask your hosting provider for assistance. Next slide, please.
To summarize our report, here are the steps on how to efficiently upload your website. First is to pick the right hosting provider, then choose the tool and method to upload your website, and then upload your website files, then move the website files to the main root folder, import your database, and lastly, check if your website works worldwide. Thank you all for listening.
Good morning, ma'am. This is our report. It's about web host. I mean, best practices of web publishing. The first segment of our report is the typography. First rule of typography is the information must be presented with adequate contrast. When presenting pieces of information, we must have a contrast between what is important and what is not. Creating a contrast between this information, the size and the color of the text matters most. Next. Mr. Par.
Avoid using multiple colors for text. In website design, some colors have a meaning. Different font color in a sentence can mean one thing from another. An example of this is a blue font color with an underline is a link to somewhere. Using multiple font text can disorientate the users and lose interest in reading the text. Next slide.
Avoid embedding links in header text. Header text is used for hinting the user of what to expect below the header. Embedding links inside the header disrupts the flow of information and can be a distraction for the users. Next.
Um, Saan? Avoid using too many layers of header.
Header text is used for hinting the user of what to expect below the header. Embedding links inside the header disrupt the flow of information and can be a distraction for the user. Next.
Images. The first rule is do not embed text in images. Although adding an alt property in an image tag counts as embedding, all it does is give information of the image whenever it won't show up. Editing or inputting text directly on top an image is a bad idea. The text won't scale properly on some devices, reduce readability, and badly affects the quality of user experience. Next slide.
Include comfortable margins around inline images. Inline images must have sufficient white space between the text. White space between the text and images gives a better readability and the contrast. Next.
Images should be optimized for display on the web. Optimizing image for website display is a must. Too large of an image size will cause it to load slower on lower device and take a toll on user experience. If the image is not the main purpose of the site, make sure to reduce its file size or make it less detailed.
Yung crop, last slide. Yung last pa, isa pa.
Balik.
Yan, okay. Images should be properly cropped and resized. Properly resizing and cropping of an image can improve its effectiveness. Resizing of an image will be based on the image purpose and its location on the site. On the other hand, cropping an image depends on the image main focus. Next.
Incorporate image and elements harmony. Image needs to complement other elements on the site. Image must be consistent with the website's theme. Harmony of the website to other elements will benefit website's memorability.
Usability interaction. Link text should describe the content you are linking to. Text in the link must clearly describe where it will lead the user. Readability is a must as it will give user a better time navigating the site. Format information to include clear calls to action next.
Format information to include clear calls to action. The composition of the information when involving action needs to be clear. The design of interactive elements must embody the phrase, "Don't make me think." It means that if the user see that element, they will know without even thinking about it. Next.
Only use tables for tabular data. Properly structured tabular data when dealing with tabular data tables. Tables are structured and the most common way of presenting information or data. Next.
Carefully consider the impact of interactive elements. Whenever implementing interactive elements, think of everything carefully. It is easy to make mistakes when implementing interactive elements, as it will base on the theme of the website and who is the main audience of the website. That's it, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, let's proceed now to group 1.
Tapos na po yung group 1, ma'am.
Hi, group 1.
Hello po, ma'am. Tapos na po yung reporting namin, ma'am.
Oh,
Kakatapos na po.
sorry. So thank you all the groups from groups 1 to 5. And there you have the group presentations for today. Let's give them a virtual clap. All right, so thank you guys for giving it your best. Let me just go through the list of the members first, no? Kasi I saw here, merong, asan na yun? Dalawa yung group 5 sa records ko. Sandali Si Jonisho ba? Dito ba si Jonisho?
Yes po.
Oo,
Group 6
anong group
po, ma'am.
number kayo, Dionisio?
Group 6 po, ma'am.
Group 6.
Yes
Okay,
po.
group 5 kasi nakalagay dito. Wait lang ha. So sila sila Mipa, sila yung group 5, and then group 6 sila Dionisio. Tama ba? Hi.
Yes po, ma'am. Sila Mipas po, group 5.
Okay, so correct ko lang ito. So Andaya, Calamba, Legazpi, Dionisio, group 6. How about Cacho, Calamba? Ito. Okay, na-double pala. So I get it now. Yun, dito kasi ako nalito.